My name is Xiaoyu, and what I am about to tell you still haunts me. No matter how much time passes inside this city, the memories return whenever the night grows quiet. I tell myself I will wake up, that this is only a dream, but when the fog thickens and the world fades to gray, it finds me again. I am still here. I never left. I am 26 years old. I live in Beijing. A week ago, I decided to drive to Shanghai for a weekend trip. It sounded harmless, 11 hours on the road, 3 days away from the noise, a little time to breathe. That evening my apartment was calm and warm. My camera lay on the desk beside a photograph of my parents taken during spring in Hangzhou. A message from a friend blinked on my phone, "Don't forget to send pictures." I smiled, told them I would be fine, and promised to call once I reached Shanghai. They said the same words everyone says before something bad happens: take care. It was Thursday night in winter. The kind of cold that hums quietly against the windows. I packed my backpack, laptop, camera, power bank, and some clothes. I charged my phone to 100%, brought a second one for safety, updated my Google Maps, and checked the car twice. Everything felt right. Everything felt safe. When I was about to leave, I saw a small parcel on my desk, a book I had ordered days earlier and forgotten. I told myself I would open it later in Shanghai. I was running late. I slid it into my bag without a thought. That was my first mistake. I locked the apartment door and carried my things downstairs. The air in the hallway felt colder than outside, and my breath hung in front of me like smoke. I loaded the car, sat down, and closed the door. The cold hit instantly. Not ordinary cold, something deeper, like the warmth inside me had drained away. My hands stiffened. My teeth began to shake. "Relax, Xiaoyu," I whispered. "It's just the weather." The dashboard lights flickered on, soft green against the darkness. Google Maps glowed on the screen, Shanghai, 11 hours 03 minutes. I pressed start navigation. The voice sounded normal, calm, distant. The streets emptied as I left the city. Neon became highway lamps, then only darkness. For hours I drove through quiet fields and sleeping towns until Beijing was far behind me. After 5 hours exhaustion settled in. My eyes ached. I needed coffee, fuel, something warm to eat. When a small gas station appeared ahead, relief washed through me. Then the headlights touched the building, and the feeling vanished. The place was wrong. A single light trembled above the shop door, flickering in slow rhythm. The rest of the station was swallowed in darkness. No cars. No sound. Only the faint hum of a power line somewhere far away. A drunk man lay beside the trash bins, his head resting awkwardly against the wall, his mouth moving as though he were whispering to someone I could not see. I opened the door, thinking to help him, but something inside me, a deep wordless instinct, warned me not to. I locked the car and went inside the shop. The bell above the door did not ring. The air was thick and still, heavy with the smell of old dust and burned coffee. Behind the counter stood an old woman. Her eyes were pale gray, almost silver. She watched me enter without blinking. "I need to pay for fuel," I said. "And a coffee, please." She nodded and poured from a pot so blackened it looked ancient. When she handed me the cup, her fingers brushed mine. Her skin felt paper-thin and ice-cold. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To Shanghai." She held my gaze for too long. "Shanghai," she repeated softly. "Good luck." The words sounded more like a warning than a blessing. I forced a smile, paid, and turned to leave. "Wait," she said. Her voice had changed, quieter, lower. She leaned forward, eyes narrowing as if she smelled something foul. "I feel something," she whispered. "Something in your car." I froze. "What do you mean?" "You have a book," she said. wrapped in dark paper. It carries bad symbols, bad hands. You should not touch it. I laughed nervously. It's just something I ordered online. She shook her head. Not yours. It followed you. Her eyes glistened. That book is marked. It calls for the wrong kind of company. My chest tightened. I don't believe in that. I know, she said. And somehow that was worse than being accused. The shop felt smaller, the lights dimmer. Good luck, she murmured again, but this time it sounded like a prayer she did not expect to work. I stepped outside. The drunk man was gone. A damp patch stained the ground where he had been, dark and wet like something that refused to dry. The air had grown heavy. The world around the gas station felt sealed off from everything else. I climbed into the car, locked the doors, and drove away fast. Stop thinking, I told myself. She is crazy. You are tired. Just keep driving. 2 hours later, headlights appeared ahead. A sign glowed faintly in the fog. Another gas station. Relief mixed with unease. As I approached, the shape of the building came into view, identical pumps, identical walls, the same broken sign missing 2 letters. Then I saw the car parked at the pump. My car. Same model, same color, same plate number. Someone was sitting in the driver's seat. My breath caught as the figure turned its head toward me. It was me. My own face stared back through the windshield, eyes open, expression empty. The headlights washed over the glass, and the reflection looked alive. I felt something inside me collapse, a sense of reality tearing like fabric. My phone slid from my hand to the floor. When I picked it up, the navigation screen was still open, but the destination had changed. It no longer said Shanghai. Destination, Xiaoyu. The calm digital voice spoke again, but now it sounded almost human, almost amused. Turn right. I looked into the mirror. The highway behind me was gone. No road. No lights. Only a wall of fog, thick and endless. Ahead of me, the other me sat motionless in the other car, blinking once, a slow unnatural blink. From the back seat came a faint sound. Paper rustling. I turned my head. My backpack had fallen open. The edge of the forgotten book peeked out, its pages moving as if stirred by a breath that was not there. And in that perfect silence, a voice whispered my name. Xiaoyu. Every part of me froze. That was the moment I understood the truth. This was not a normal journey. Something had found me. Something was leading me away from the world I knew. It was not taking me to Shanghai. It was taking me somewhere else. Somewhere that should not exist. Somewhere called Xiaoyu. That was the night I left my life behind. That was where it truly began. The drive should have ended hours ago. 11 hours of asphalt and fog, and the GPS still whispered one name, Xiaoyu. But the road itself seemed to disagree. Welcome to Xiaoyu. The name appeared out of the fog like a shadow remembering its own death. I slowed the car. The letters on the sign looked old, burned at the edges, as if someone had tried to erase them with fire. This isn't right, I whispered. The map on my phone froze, then blinked back to life, still showing the blue line to Shanghai. The road ahead was narrow, cracked, and empty. There were no other cars, no sound except the soft hum of the engine and my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I wanted to turn back, but something made me stop. On the passenger seat lay the book I had forgotten about, the one I had ordered days ago but never opened. The cover was black, rough like dry skin, and marked with a faint red 5-pointed star that shimmered when my headlights hit it. I picked it up, and the air around me grew colder. The title was burned into the cover. The Book of the Fallen. When I touched it, the letters seemed to breathe, glowing faintly as if whispering in a language I could not understand. I flipped the cover open. Inside, the pages were filled with strange circular symbols drawn in dark ink. Between them lay something folded, a talisman, pale yellow and fragile like old skin. It was covered in thin black writing that looked carved by something that did not want to be human. At the bottom, a single line was written in red ink. To those who open this book, your name is already written. My fingers trembled. Before I could read more, the wind slammed against the car. I closed the book, shoved it into the bag, and whispered, "No, not now." I turned the car around and drove. 5 minutes. 10. Then 20. And there it was again. Welcome to Xiaoyu. My throat closed. I screamed and slammed my hand on the dashboard. I reopened the map, still pointing forward. I tried both my phones. No signal. I had internet, but no connection to the world I knew. I typed the city's name. No results. Not even a single image. I asked AI. I asked ChatGPT. The same reply came back every time. This city does not exist. But I was already there. After another 10 minutes, I saw a dim yellow light ahead. A hotel. The sign above it flickered in the fog, Crimson Star Inn. I parked the car. The silence was heavy, like the city was holding its breath. Inside the lobby, a woman sat behind the counter. She was young, maybe my age, with long black hair that hung like wet silk. Her skin was paper white, her eyes a deep unnatural red that glowed in the light. "Welcome," she said softly. "We have been waiting for you, Xiaoyu." I froze. "How do you know my name?" Her smile did not move. "Room 11. She slid a brass key toward me. Hanging from it was a charm shaped like a star, the same red symbol from the book. I wanted to leave. I wanted to scream. But exhaustion pulled me down. Maybe if I rested, I would understand this nightmare. The elevator opened by itself when I stepped near. The floor was covered in faded satanic stars, scratched into the metal. Each one seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. When the door opened, the hallway was long and narrow. All the doors looked the same, except mine, room 11. Someone had carved a star into the wood, right above the handle. It looked wet, as if freshly drawn. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was perfect. Too perfect. The same water bottles I kept at home. The same noodles. The same blanket. Even the same photograph of me and my mother that I had on my desk in Beijing. I felt sick. Who could have known these things? There, on the table, was the book. The same one I had left in the car. My hand shook as I reached for it. Inside, the talisman had changed. It now carried my name, written in red. I do not remember falling asleep. When I woke, the clock said 12 p.m. But it was still night. No sunrise. No sound. I tried to call my mother through WeChat. After 3 rings, her face appeared on the screen. "Xiaoyu," she smiled, "you are in Shanghai. It looks beautiful there." "Mom, I am not." But my voice on her screen was not my voice. "Yes, Mom," it said calmly. "It is beautiful. Do not worry. I love it here." My reflection smiled while I screamed. She could not hear me. The call ended. I texted her, "Mom, help me. I am trapped." The message sent, then changed itself. "Mom, I am fine. I love Shanghai." I threw the phone. Something whispered behind me. I turned, nothing. But the window had fogged over from inside. Words were written in the mist. "You opened the book." I ran into the hallway. The elevator was gone, only an empty shaft filled with fog. The lobby was darker than before. The woman at the counter was gone, but the red star behind her seat was glowing like an open wound. Outside, I saw figures in the mist. They stood in rows, motionless. Men, women, children. Their faces pale, their eyes hollow. And one of them looked exactly like me. Same clothes. Same hair. Same frozen smile. The air around me whispered many voices, one breath. You should not have opened the book. Then I saw something lying near my feet, another talisman, folded, trembling slightly in the wind. I opened it. The writing was in red, still wet. Xiaoyu is mine. I dropped it. From the fog, a woman's voice rose softly, broken and distant. You are new here, are you not? I turned. A pale woman stood a few meters away, wearing torn clothes. Her eyes were black and empty. Please, I said, help me. How do I get out? She shook her head. You cannot. This city was erased for a reason. Someone used the forbidden book, what you call the Satan's book, and cursed this place forever. Once you enter, you belong to it. She stepped closer. It is not a city anymore. It is a mouth. Then she vanished into the fog. And I finally understood. The road never led to Shanghai. It led here. To Xiaoyu, a city that does not exist. A city that feeds on those who find it. I ran back to the hotel through the mist. Inside, the woman at the counter was still there, standing too still, smiling too wide. Welcome back, Xiaoyu, she said softly. Her voice cracked like glass. I hope you enjoyed the city. That smile did not move from her face. I did not answer. I rushed past her, heart pounding, and locked myself in room 11. My laptop opened with a heavy click. The Wi-Fi was already connected, Zionit_11. The signal was strong, too strong. I searched everything I could, Xiaoyu, hotel, China map, police station, emergency. Every link led to the same black screen with a flickering symbol, 5 red stars forming a circle. My hand shook. I opened the system console and tried to hack the network. Lines of code blurred. Nothing responded. Then letters appeared by themselves. Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Do you think you can bypass the system? Do you think you can escape? I can see you, Xiaoyu. I froze. I had not typed a thing. Another line appeared. Stop moving. Do not touch anything. The cursor stopped blinking. The mouse froze. The keyboard stopped responding. A loud electronic scream echoed from the speakers, static mixed with whispers. Red symbols began flashing across the screen, twisting and forming into the same satanic stars I had seen on the book. My laptop vibrated, almost alive. I slammed the power button and held it down. The screen turned black. But the red stars still pulsed faintly on the glass, as if burned inside. I could not stay. I packed my bag and ran out of the room. The elevator doors opened instantly. Inside, the walls were covered in glowing red marks, circles, triangles, and the same cursed stars. I pressed lobby. The elevator dropped. When the doors opened, room 11. No, I whispered. I pressed again, lobby. The doors closed, then opened. Room 11. I stared at the floor number, 11. Always 11. If I try to escape, I come back here, I whispered. If I accept it, maybe I can move. I took a deep breath. I will stay. The elevator shuddered, then began to move again. When the doors opened this time, fog spilled into the hallway. The lights flickered. And she was there. Me. She stood across the hall, pale as bone, her hair hanging wet over her face. Her skin was dead white, her eyes red and bleeding down her cheeks. When she smiled, blood touched her lips. "What did you do?" she said, her voice layered, half hers, half mine. "I do not know what you are talking about," I said, backing away. "You ordered the book," she whispered. "You touched it. The Satan's book with the red stars." Her eyes rolled upward. "You opened the curse. You promised the devil. And now, you belong here." "I did not promise anything," I screamed. She tilted her head, her bleeding eyes fixed on mine. "You think your family will find you? They already have someone else. Another you. It is living your life now." Her face twitched, and her smile widened unnaturally. I ran. Down the stairs. Through the fog. Into the street. The air reeked of ash and something burning. I saw them, figures kneeling in circles, whispering prayers to something that was not human. The ground beneath them was covered in the red satanic stars. Their voices rose together. "He comes. He watches. He forgives no one." They turned toward me, their eyes glowing blood red. One stretched out his hand. "Come," he whispered. "Worship with us." I ran. I did not look back. But the city never ended. Every corner I turned brought me back to the same street, the same lights, the same whispering voices. When I finally stopped, shaking and breathless, a sound rose from behind me, soft static, like a radio turning on by itself. My phone vibrated in my pocket. The screen lit up, showing one last message. "You cannot escape, Xiaoyu. You belong to us now." On the way, I tried to go back to my hotel. Inside the lobby, the woman was there again, standing behind the counter, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Welcome back again, Xiaoyu," she said. "Take this book. This is for you." I took it. Something inside me told me I had to. I opened it. It was my name, Xiaoyu. Written in red ink across the page. "Curse her. Make her stay here in this city forever. Make her the worst curse to herself." The ink shimmered like blood, and the room filled with whispers. That was the moment I knew. The book was no longer mine to carry. It had already chosen me. When I returned to my room, the fog outside pressed against the glass like a living thing. The corridor was quiet. Room 11 waited with its key still warm in my hand. I did not bring the book. I left it behind without thinking, a mistake dressed as mercy. I told myself I did not need it. I told myself it could not follow me. Inside, the room was still. The bed was smooth. The photograph of my mother stood on the table, the same smile, the same light in her eyes. I sat down and tried to breathe. The silence felt thick, like cloth in my mouth. 5 minutes passed. 3 knocks, slow and heavy. I opened the door. She stood there, the woman from the counter, black uniform perfect, hair straight as a blade, red eyes glowing softly in the hall light. Her smile was too careful, too kind. "You forgot your book, Xiaoyu," she said. She stepped inside before I could answer. The book lay in her hands, wrapped in black fabric that seemed to slip by itself, as if something beneath it moved and breathed. "Nice photo of your mother," she said. Her fingers hovered above the frame. "If you need anything, you can come down. Or you can call me. The line always works in this room." "Thank you," I said. My voice did not sound like mine. She placed the book on the table, beside the photograph. The red star on the cover bled through the fabric like heat through cloth. She turned to me, eyes bright and empty. "Rest well, Xiaoyu," she whispered. "See you soon." She left and closed the door. The room felt colder. I could hear the building breathe, a slow wheeze in the vents. I could not stand the sight of the book. I grabbed my bag and went to the door. I needed to leave. I did not care where. I did not care how. The corridor was full of fog. It moved like water. I walked quickly, my hand on the wall to keep my balance. The elevator lights were dead. The stairs were darker than I remembered. They were waiting for me at the end of the hall. 3 figures, still as statues. Black hoodies covered their heads and faces. Where their eyes should have been, red light moved under the fabric, slow and patient. They did not breathe. They did not speak. They simply were. I stepped back. The air thickened, heavy in my lungs. The building grew taller around me. The floor softened under my shoes. A voice slid into my head, cold as iron. You cannot escape. Another voice joined it, the same words, the same weight. You will stay here forever. A third voice, closer than the first 2, pressed behind my eyes. You accepted this. My legs gave out. The 3 figures did not touch me, but I felt hands on my shoulders, on my back, on my throat. The world tilted. The corridor bent like wet wood. When I blinked, I was standing in front of room 11. The woman with the red eyes was there already. She smiled like a patient teacher. Back home, she said softly. The door opened by itself. The 3 figures followed me inside. The woman closed the door with a quiet click that felt like a lock turning in my chest. Listen, she said. Her voice filled the room. You cannot leave. This is the rule of this place. The city keeps what it chooses. The stars keep the door closed. She lifted her hand. Red light crawled across the floor like veins under skin. Lines formed in circles, then crossed each other, then settled into the shape of the star I had seen so many times. Heat rolled up from the pattern. The air smelled like hot metal and ash. Try it, she said. I reached for the handle. The symbol on the floor flared. Pain struck my palm like a brand. The shock ran up my arm and into my skull. A sharp headache bloomed behind my eyes, bright and merciless. I fell to my knees. You see, she whispered. Every time you try to leave, it will answer. It will burn the door into your hands. It will press needles into your head. It will teach you to stay. The 3 hooded figures stood at the edges of the room, heads tilted, eyes glowing through the cloth. They did not move, but I felt them watching the thoughts inside my skull, reading every fear like words on paper. You will stay here forever, the woman said. This is your room. This is your city. My heart pounded. The pain in my palm pulsed with the same rhythm. The red symbol faded to a low ember. The room breathed out. If you refuse the room, you will break, she added. If you accept the room, you may walk the city. You may learn its streets. You may survive. Her gaze rested on the photograph of my mother. People who fight it, go mad. People who learn the rules, last longer. She took a step back. The 3 figures turned their hidden faces toward me, waiting. I could not speak. I stared at the door, at the floor, at the book on the table with its quiet, sleeping light. At last I nodded, once. The woman smiled. It was almost gentle. Good, she said. Now the city can begin. The red lines settled into the cracks between the floorboards. The air warmed by a breath. The 3 hooded figures faded into the fog in the corners of the room, until they were only shadows on the wall. The woman opened the door, just a little. Cool air touched my face, sweet and rotten at the same time. You may leave the room when it allows it, she said. You may walk the streets when they call you. But you will always return to room 11. This is the rule. She looked at me with those red, unblinking eyes. Rest, Xiaoyu. Morning comes here when it wants. She stepped out and closed the door. The lock turned by itself. The lights dimmed until only the window remained, and the fog behind it, moving like slow smoke. I sat on the bed and held my burned palm against my chest. The pain faded to a dull ache. The book on the table did not move. The photograph of my mother watched me quietly, as if she knew where I was. I breathed in. I breathed out. I understood. If I refused the room, I would go insane. If I learned the rules, I might live long enough to find a way out. I turned off the lamp. The room sank into red shadow. In the dark, I heard the city speak through the vents, soft and patient, like a mother humming to a child that does not belong to her. Room 11 exhaled, and I exhaled with it. When I opened my eyes, the door was already closed. The lock clicked once, quiet and final. Room 11 breathed again, slow and steady, like lungs under the floor. The television turned on by itself. No remote, no sound, only white light crawling across the walls. On the screen, I saw myself. I was smiling. I was packing my camera. I was locking my apartment door in Beijing. I was happy. That version of me looked alive. She laughed softly as she placed her bag in the car. "This is not me," I whispered. "That person is gone." The picture flickered. The smiling version of me turned toward the camera. Her mouth stretched too wide. Her voice came through the static, soft at first, then sharp. "You are me," she said. "You will stay here forever." The image turned red. Behind her, the road to Xiaoyu glowed like an open wound. My phone buzzed beside me. A message on WeChat. It was a photo of my mother sitting in her wheelchair, smiling at the camera. For one heartbeat, I felt peace. Then the photo moved. The smiling version of me leaned toward my mother and whispered something in her ear. The screen trembled. When she turned to face me again, her eyes were bleeding. "I will curse your family soon," she whispered. "You belong here now." I dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a dull sound. The television laughed with my voice, higher, louder, until it cracked into static. Blood ran from my nose first, then from my eyes. The taste was metallic, warm, endless. My vision blurred, red and black. I fell to my knees. The book on the table glowed faintly, its pages turning by themselves. The red symbol on the floor pulsed like a heartbeat. The fog outside the window pressed against the glass, whispering. I finally understood. If I tried to fight it, it would destroy me. If I stayed, maybe it would leave my family untouched. "I accept," I whispered. "I will stay." The room exhaled. The television went black. The whisper softened to a hum, low and endless. Blood still ran from my eyes, but it no longer hurt. It felt calm, almost gentle, like rain on skin. Beijing, my mother, my old life, they were only memories the city showed me. Xiaoyu keeps what it loves. It never releases anyone. I sat on the bed and closed my eyes. The floor warmed under my feet. The air smelled of dust and iron. The heartbeat of the city moved through the walls, slow and patient. "I accept," I said again. The red light outside the window pulsed once. And the city accepted me.